Hi friends, it's Heather, and it's that time of year. The movie reviews are coming fast and furious, just like the movie releases. In this video, I'm here to give you our review of Moana 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Moana 2 was originally intended to be a television series that was going to be released on Disney+. And at some point, and I don't really understand how or why, they changed their minds and decided to quick put it together into a second movie. So it's a sequel to the original Moana instead of releasing it as a TV series. So we had our reservations about it. We were a little concerned that the quality of the animation would not be up to the standards of the original Moana movie. And we were also just kind of generally wondering if it was going to have the feel more like a television series than a movie. I think they did a pretty good job of making it into a movie instead of a TV show, but we definitely could see the potential there of how they had kind of plans in place of making this a series of episodes. But overall, it was fine. The two places that I noticed that sort of felt short of the original Moana, one was in the animation of the scenery and the backgrounds. I was very pleased that right away I could tell that they had still taken as much time and care in this animation of the characters. The characters were still animated absolutely beautifully and looked exactly like they did in the first Moana. But all of the scenery in the background was really minimal. They showed very little of that and instead replaced it with kind of nothing. I mean, there was definitely a significant downgrade in how much scenery and background animation there was in this film compared to the first one. So it's not a big deal, but it was noticeable. And then the other thing was the music, because they did not have Lin-Manuel Miranda to do the music for this movie. The music was good. It was fine. But it definitely wasn't as catchy or as cool as the music in the first movie. And in fact, none of the songs from this movie, even though we just came out of it, are sticking in my head. The only thing that's sticking in my head is actually one of the songs from the first original Moana movie. So the music was still good, but it wasn't as good as in Moana, the first one. So those are the two areas that we noticed that kind of felt a little less than the original Moana. It had a good story. There was a definite plot. The voice actors returned. The voice actors that played Maui and Moana were the same voice actors as in the first Moana movie. One thing that I did like was there was a lot of new characters in this movie, which obviously made a lot of sense given that it was originally intended to be a TV series. This time Moana has a crew. She has a bigger boat and she has a crew on her boat. And so there were a bunch of characters with that. It was still quite entertaining. There was a good mix of funny, humorous moments. There were a good number of kind of inside Disney jokes that adults or true Disney fans would definitely have caught and found humor in. There was also a good balance of that with inspiring, motivational type messaging and also a little bit of drama or scary stuff happening, but nothing too scary. I think this movie's rated PG. It was completely fine for kids. There were a few moments that were kind of emotional where I actually, felt a little choked up just, for a minute or two here and there. So, I mean, it was a well-rounded story and plot and everything and still had decent level of entertainment value and was enjoyable to watch. In summary, we all agreed, it was me and my son Ben and my daughter Megan that went to the movie. We all agreed that it was definitely not as good as the original Moana, but it was still a good movie, and we all agreed on what we would rate it, and we'd all give it a 3.5. Now, I would not give original Moana a 5. Original Moana for me, I like it, but it's not one of my absolute favorites. Like if you go into the newest Disney princess movies, such as Tangled, Brave, Frozen, Moana isn't my favorite. I still would give it at least a 4, maybe a 4.5, but this one was definitely a step down from that. We all agreed we would give it 3.5 out of 5. It's not as good as the first one because they just didn't take as much time with it and spend as much time and energy and investment in this movie as they did with the first one. But overall, we enjoyed it fine, and it would be perfectly fine for you to take your kids of any age too. And if they like Moana, they're, kids are big fans. She does have a new outfit in this one, so more opportunity for Disney to sell more merch. There's new characters to be introduced to and things like that, so it's worth seeing. If you're big Disney fans or big Moana fans, I definitely would encourage you to go see it. However, I would also say that if you're the type of person who it's not critical to you to see things in the theater like it is for us, we much prefer seeing things in the cinema. This would be one, I would say, especially because of what I talked about with it being lesser quality animation for the scenery and the backgrounds, that you could skip seeing it in the theater and wait for it to come out on streaming, and you probably wouldn't be missing much. There's a lot of movies that they definitely very much intend to be shown on the big screen in the cinema, and this obviously wasn't one of them because they intended it to be released on Disney Plus and be shown on the small screen from the start anyway. So you could do either one and it'd be fine. I hope this video was helpful to you making a decision if you want to go see Moana 2 in the theaters. I'm sure that it will come to Disney Plus on streaming eventually, but it's in theaters now. As of today is Thanksgiving Day 2024. Totally appropriate for kids of all ages. We give it a 3.5 out of 5. Thanks for watching this video today, and I'll see you next time.